Hello, everyone. Ben Bryce, joined by Ryan Etner to give you your midday mayhem. Ryan, these grain markets have been pretty quiet. What's going on? We got a pro farm or two going on around the country. So
yeah.
Should we be seeing activity?
And most of this week, trade hasn't really paid too much attention to it. I don't think the numbers they've come out with so far have been shocking until yesterday when they came in with some fairly big numbers for Iowa and Illinois. And I think that is catching attention.
Right. I mean, big numbers, but I mean, if anywhere, usually Iowa, Illinois, Indiana are pretty good.
Yeah.
And the fact that really during this growing season, it seems like Iowa and Illinois especially really haven't had that many issues.
Agreed.
Wet early on was wet everywhere, but I mean, temperatures and just mid-season growing rain weather in general was right on point.
Yeah, if you're going to sum up everybody, I would agree with that.
But that's fairly typical. Are we above the average? Maybe, but look at the country. I mean, the funds are not the funds. The USDA is looking for what, 183 right now, so two bushels above.
Yep.
Does that hold? I mean, can the other, far east and far western side of the Corn Belt affect the overall yield?
I think the state that sticks out the most to me right now is Nebraska. I think their dryland corn can actually do quite a bit better than it usually does, or above, let's say, the 5-year average or whatever. And that can make up a good chunk right there.
Okay, so a lot on corn. Do you like looking at those bean numbers during the Pro Farmer Tour at all?
The pod counts, I mean, all you can really do is compare pod counts to a 5-year average, and then you still don't know. 2 beans in a pod, 3, 4? Yeah, I mean, you're going to use them as a rough estimate.
So, yeah, I typically, whenever I look at those Pro Farmer, I think corn gives you a better gauge.
Mm-hmm.
But those beans, I mean, it's so early on yet for a lot of these beans, right?
Yep.
You still have to finish them off here. And that weather forecast for those beans over the next few weeks doesn't seem like it's going to be all that friendly.
Yeah, it's been dry. And I that seems to be what may have helped us out here on the recent bounce up until today's setback. Yeah.
So, I mean, but these grains just in general, you have funds that have been selling not aggressively. We're not seeing the price really fall out of bed, for corn. Now, beans on the other hand, that's a different story. They've been getting torn apart. But, these funds have come back, bought a little bit back from their record shorts.
Yep.
Are we able to find buyers down here? Are we sitting at a point looking at the balance sheets or maybe looking at the balance sheets are pricing in a much larger carry out?
Yes.
2.1 what the USDA is giving us.
And you bring up a very good question because exports this morning were great.
Fantastic.
I mean, beans have been improving 5 weeks in a row and went even above that. And corn finally jumped to a level that starts to look positive. You can even throw wheat in there. That was a slightly positive number. So it does look like we're finding buyers.
So, and then going back to the wheat, we got a big headline last night regarding the Canadian train union strike. And the wheat today is just getting obliterated.
Yeah. And I haven't seen any talk about the Canadian government stepping in. We would guess that once they do, that'll have a quick market effect. But as of this recording, I haven't seen anything on that yet.
So, yeah, I mean, typical for the past few months, I mean, grains looks good. Yields are expected to be 183 in corn and 52 in beans, 53 in beans?
53.
Yeah, 53 in beans. So that really hasn't changed. Now, over the next few weeks, once the South's already getting started with their harvest.
Mm-hmm.
Once that starts creeping up here, start getting end of September, start getting more numbers, I think we could see some change and get a little bit better gauge as to what that yield is going to look like.
Definitely. Yep.
So outside of grains, the fun one has been livestock this week, and specifically cattle. Cattle's been on a tear, but not today. So what's going on?
Actually, the last 2 weeks have been a lot of panic trade. I think the cattle market's worried about the economy. The cattle market's worried about some of the stuff Kamala Harris is saying about price controls. And there's also traders who remember from last fall that we had an ugly setback. So there's 3 reasons why people have gotten nervous. And we would make the case that it's far out past any fundamentals by $4 or $5. Right. But, we still need something to ease back this panic. And today showed a sign of a few buyers stepping in there. We'll see how that goes.
And why do you think that is? I heard some rumors of maybe some larger buyers pulling their bids, but is that the case? Is that why we're moving up right now? Or, I mean, we got a big report tomorrow with the cattle on feed coming out.
Yeah, we have a cattle on feed tomorrow. It's a report that is a little bit off when you just look at the numbers. The placements are high at 103, but what I think a lot of traders may have forgot is last month, the placements were especially low. It's one of those things where how it falls on a calendar.
Yeah.
If you take the two, they kind of even themselves out.
Right.
But just for tomorrow's trade, people are going to be glued to the placements number they're seeing for tomorrow. So could still see a little pressure from that.
So we could see more continued fun out of this cattle market going into next week. I
Yep.
love how cattle on
Yep.
feed comes out after the close on Friday.
Yeah.
You get to sit on a nice report
Mhm.
all weekend. All right, guys. Well, we got a lot of talk too with the fund next starting in September, right? That talk of the Fed rate cut is going to be a quarter point, half point. Powell should be speaking here soon because they're in Jackson Hole today. So that could give us an indication. We got all the drama. It's really starting to build up now with the Democrats and Republican running for office. We got a lot of stuff on the docket here. The year's not over. We might be end of August, but all the fun's just starting to get started. So, Brian, thank you for joining us. And if you guys could, please take our survey. We're doing that right now. You can do it online on your own. Give someone a call here. We're available anytime. 1-800-2-MARKET. That's 1-800-262-7538. Thank you.